Steve stood in his awesome workshop. Today was the day. He was going to face the Ender Dragon. He had been preparing for so long. He looked around at all his chests. They were full of useful things. He needed the best gear for this fight. It was going to be super dangerous, very risky indeed. He thought about all the adventures he had. This one would be the biggest. He smiled, feeling a bit nervous but also excited. He knew he could do it with the right tools and a brave heart. His armor was ready. It was made of shiny blue diamonds. Wow, it looked so cool. He had spent ages mining for these diamonds. Then he enchanted the armor. It had protection, making him tougher. It also had unbreaking, so it would last longer. He put on the helmet, then the chest plate. Next came the leggings and finally the boots. The boots had feather falling just in case he fell from a high place. He felt safe and strong in his diamond suit. He was almost ready for anything the End could throw at him. Next, Steve checked his weapons. His diamond sword was amazing. He had enchanted it with sharpness. This meant it would do extra damage. He swung it through the air. Swish! It felt perfectly balanced in his hand. He also had his trusty bow. It was enchanted with power and infinity. Power made his arrows fly stronger. Infinity meant he would never run out of arrows. He just needed one arrow in his inventory. He grabbed a stack of healing potions just in case and lots of tasty cooked steak for energy. He also packed some special golden apples. These were super good for healing quickly. They could save him in a really tricky spot. He put everything in his inventory carefully. He didn't want to forget anything important. This was it. The final check. Armor, check. Sword, check. Bow, check. Potions and food, check. He took a deep breath. He was as ready as he could ever be. The journey to the End awaited him, a true test of his skills and courage. He was ready to be a hero. Steve set off to find a stronghold. He used his eyes of Ender. He threw one in the air. It floated towards the hidden place. He followed it carefully. He threw another, then another. Finally, the Eye of Ender went straight down. This was it. He dug down, down, down. The stone bricks of the stronghold appeared. It was dark and a bit spooky. He could hear strange noises. He lit up the way with torches. He explored the winding corridors and old rooms. He had to be careful of any lurking monsters. He finally found the End portal room. It was a big room with a lava pool. The portal frame stood over the lava. It had empty slots. Steve pulled out his eyes of Ender. He began to place them in the slots. One by one they clicked into place. With each eye the portal hummed a little louder. The air felt strange. When he placed the last eye of Ender, it happened. A dark, starry void appeared in the portal frame. It swirled like a galaxy. It made a deep, rumbling sound. This was the way to the End. Steve stood before the swirling portal. It looked a bit scary, but he was brave. He thought about the Ender Dragon. He thought about the adventure. He took another deep breath. He clutched his diamond sword tightly. This was a big step. He was leaving his familiar world behind. He was going to a strange new dimension. He hoped he had everything he needed. He gave a nod. Here I go, he thought. He stepped forward and jumped into the dark, swirling gateway. It was time to face his destiny. The world twisted and turned around him. It was like being sucked through a long tunnel. Colours flashed by. Strange sounds echoed. It was a very weird feeling. He couldn't see anything clearly, just a blur of stars and darkness. He held on tight, even though there was nothing to hold. He just had to wait for the journey to finish. Then suddenly everything stopped. He felt solid ground beneath his feet. He blinked his eyes. He had arrived. He was in the End. It was a strange and alien place, unlike anything he'd seen before. Steve looked around. He was on a floating island. It was made of pale yellow endstone. All around him were tall obsidian pillars. They reached high into the dark, starry sky. Lots of Endermen were teleporting around. They didn't seem to notice him yet. Then he heard it, a loud, mighty roar. He looked up. There it was, the Ender Dragon. It was huge and black with glowing purple eyes. Its health bar appeared at the top of his screen. The battle had begun. This was even more terrifying than he had imagined. His first job was to destroy the End crystals. These crystals were on top of the obsidian pillars. They healed the Ender Dragon. Steve pulled out his bow. He aimed carefully at the first crystal. Whiz! The arrow hit the crystal. Boom! It exploded. The dragon roared angrily. It flew towards him, breathing purple fire. Steve quickly dodged to the side. He had to be fast. He built a small wall of endstone to hide behind. He needed to take out all the crystals before he could really hurt the dragon. This was a tough challenge. Some crystals were protected by iron bars. Steve had to be clever. For those, he had to pillar up with blocks. He quickly stacked blocks under his feet. Up he went. It was dangerous being so high. If the dragon hit him, he could fall. He reached the top of a pillar. He swung his pickaxe at the iron bars. Smash! Then he hit the crystal. Boom! Another one down. The dragon swooped low, trying to knock him off. He jumped down just in time, using his feather-falling boots to land safely. He drank a swiftness potion to move faster. The Ender Dragon was getting really mad now. It flew around faster. It shot fireballs everywhere. Steve had to keep moving. He used his bow to shoot more crystals. Ping, boom, another one gone. He had to watch out for the Endermen too. If he looked at them, they would attack. He focused on the dragon and the crystals. He ate some steak to keep his hunger up. This fight was using all his skills. He was dodging, building, shooting and thinking fast. Only a few more crystals left to destroy now. At last all the end crystals were destroyed. The Ender Dragon roared in frustration. Now it couldn't heal itself anymore. It started to fly towards the big portal structure in the middle of the island. This was Steve's chance. He drank a strength potion to make his sword super powerful. He ran towards the portal where the dragon was perching. He had to be quick. The dragon wouldn't stay there for long. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the chance to strike the beast directly and weaken it significantly. He reached the dragon and started swinging his diamond sword. Whack! Whack! The dragon shrieked in pain. Purple particles flew off its body. It tried to bite him, but Steve jumped back. Then, the dragon took off into the air again. It was hurt, but still dangerous. Steve switched to his bow. He shot arrows at the dragon as it flew. Thwack! An arrow hit its wing. Thwack! Another hit its body. The dragon was flying slower now. It was getting weaker and weaker. Steve kept up the pressure, never giving the beast a moment to rest. The Ender Dragon made one last desperate dive. It came straight for Steve, roaring loudly. Steve stood his ground. He held his sword ready. At the very last second, he timed his jump perfectly. He swung his enchanted diamond sword upwards with all his might. Slice! It was a critical hit. The dragon let out a final deafening roar. Then it started to glow and crackle with energy. It exploded in a shower of bright purple light and experience orbs. So many orbs. They rained down all around Steve. He had done it. The Ender Dragon was defeated. Steve stood there, panting. He was so tired. His diamond armor was scratched and dented. His sword felt heavy, but he had won. A huge smile spread across his face. The exit portal activated in the center of the island, showing the way back home. A dragon egg appeared on top of the portal. He carefully picked it up. What a trophy. He had faced the ultimate boss of Minecraft and emerged victorious. He gathered up all the experience orbs, feeling stronger than ever. It was time to go home, a true hero with an amazing story to tell.